Are you there? Okay. The space is kind of schizo right now. Hang on, you want to take a look? There's a lot going on in here. So we have this fella underway. This is let's see. This is going to be the next paperback bookcase. There's a lot going on here. There'll be a whole video about that on the woodworking channel, and I may do some sort of little featurette on this one about it. But that's happening, and then over here is all these pieces, parts for it that are going on. But, whoa! The shop has become hostile to books, and I have a huge pile of books in here that we need to go through from the last like 3 weeks of book hauls, and there's some really insane stuff in here. Some of it will actually get its own video because it's just that crazy, and it deserves more attention than I'm going to give it in this video. So stay tuned until the end for that. But let me get you hooked up over here so that you can see the workbench, and let's take a look at what I've got. It's bananas. Okay, I really don't want to like completely bombard people with massive book hauls, but you know, I'm pretty regular about hunting, and you know, they pile up. So I really hope you guys like these longer videos. So I've got a bunch of stuff here that there's a little bit of a mix in lit fic and science fiction, but most of it is science fiction. I'm gonna kind of start with the paperbacks this time instead of starting with the hardbacks. Right off the top, I found a copy of Zen and the Art of Writing by Ray Bradbury. I'm not sure if this is common. I've never seen this around. I have heard about it though, and I've heard a lot of anecdotes about Bradbury's writing routine and that sort of thing, so it's interesting. I actually think I'm going to keep this and give it a read. There's another book out there that is by Milan Kundera, and it is his book about writing, and I read that many years ago and still have it on my shelf. And it's an incredible book on writing. If you're looking for a book about writing, check out the Milan Kundera book. And even though I haven't read this one, I'm going to give this one my endorsement too, because I imagine it's right up there. I found a copy of Mutiny by Henry Kuttner. This is an amazing cover. But yeah, I don't know anything about this one in particular. But this one may go into my personal stash. I've got to check. I may have a copy of this as well, so we'll see. But all in all, really great cover. It's one of those Ballantines, so you can't really see it, but it's the cover feels like it has an extra little coating on it that a lot of the Daws and Aces don't have. So, and copy the Convergence series. Find this pretty regularly. For whatever reason, these don't sell all that well, which is surprising to me. There's some great stuff in this book. Found this copy. This is Alien Speedway and Crypsis. So we've got Zelazny and Jeffrey Carver. I've never seen this out there before, but it looks rad. Let's see. Imagine the Crypsis, an entire solar system designed as the most awesome racetrack in the history of the sport. Ooh. Imagine personality implanted robots whose knowledge and influence can make or break a racer's career. And fusion-fueled ships that move at extraordinary speeds. So we got ourselves a racing buck. Now what does sell well are Tolkien's, and especially the Ballantines. I've never been lucky enough to come across the unauthorized Ace editions. Not in a format that I could afford. So I typically, what I do is when I find these, I pile them up together until I have a complete series within the print editions here, and then I'll sell the series as a whole, and that tends to work out pretty well. I usually always have one listed somewhere on the page at a time. I've never found this printing of The Hobbit. I don't think it's all that rare, but I've just never come across it. Super excited. These are in great condition. I think these are basically unread. These two. Now, of course, The Hobbit this has been thoroughly read and loved, but those are fantastic. And I don't know anything about this book, but I couldn't pass it up. This is The Cyborg and the Sorcerers. Just not going to go wrong with that combination. See, I also found like a brand new copy of Slaughterhouse-Five. There's another one in here somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, right here. So I found two of these. Just perfect condition, brand new. This one looks like it's been read once. It's got kind of a crease there, but the other one's perfect. These always sell. I found The Face of the Waters by Robert Silverberg. I've found a lot of Silverberg recently, and I've been super pumped about it. I also found this one. I've never seen this one before. This is a Kim Stanley Robinson, The Planet on the Table. And I'm not a big KSR fan. I don't have strong feelings, but it's just never been my cup of tea. It's never hooked me. But I'm going to give this one a shot. This one actually looks kind of cool. And since it's early, who knows? Also found basically a new print edition of Crashlander. If you have not read the Neutron Star stories, or these Crashlander stories, I really can't recommend them enough. They're just super awesome. I'm a sucker for this kind of science fiction, and I know people have special feelings about Niven for various reasons, but if you like the known space stuff, these are all known space stories. They're friggin' great. I also found this Damon Knight collection, Century of Great Short Science Fiction. Short science fiction novels. So these are novellas. Let's see, we have a Robert Louis Stevenson, H.G. Wells, Carol Capek, Heinlein, T.L. Sherrard, Richard McKenna, Blue Text Block. That's going to be rad. Somebody's going to enjoy that. And then these always sell pretty well, and I've gotten kind of deep into these too. These are the Alien vs. Predator books. Now, the books themselves have never really captured my attention, mainly because of time. But there's another YouTube channel out there. I think it's called Alien Theory, and this fella has developed a model for a channel which I think is really fascinating. It's all focused on the Alien universe, and what he's done is he's gone through all of the old 90s comic books and these Alien vs. Predator paperback books, and he's basically pieced together the entire lore, and then he does a sort of a narrative presentation with image art of these stories, and it is deeply, deeply entertaining, especially late at night if you can't sleep. So I always have fun finding these, and I always enjoy selling these and getting them into the hands of people who are really into them. This one, Elegy for Angels and Dogs, I'm not familiar with it, but it's a Zelazny. So, actually, no, I'm sorry, this is a double printing. So we've got Walter John Williams, Elegy for Angels and Dogs, and The Great Heart by Zelazny. So this is a Tor printing. I've never seen this before, but this is Tor SF Double number 24. That's a series I'm unfamiliar with. I've actually never run into this series before, but interesting. I wonder if anybody collects those. And I also found a copy of Bright Messengers from Gentry Lee, and I have a vague memory of reading this in my teens, maybe late teens. I read the other Rama books, the Clark and Gentry Lee books, and even though I think that they get a deserving amount of criticism, that it's not necessarily unfounded criticism. I do think that there are very cool things about these books, and I deeply enjoyed most of them. I don't remember which one it is that has the crime syndicate government on board the ship, but that one was not necessarily my favorite. But I have happy feelings about these. I know that not everybody does, but yeah, I don't know. I like them. I'll have to do a whole video on the Rama series at some point, because it's something I really enjoyed. I probably need to go back and take another look at them since it's been so long, but the feeling left in my heart is that they're awesome. Okay, everything I just showed you came from a Friends of the Library store that's a couple towns over from me. But I went back to one of my favorite little treasure spots, and I had about 15 things going on this one Saturday, but I was over on that side of town and I was compelled to go in there just to check, just to see. I just had a feeling, and man, I was right. All of these paperbacks came from one set of shelves in this magical little place. And this is going to be in no particular order. I know that this was one of those experiences where you're going shelf to shelf and you're saying, oh man, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. They just keep getting better and you keep seeing other stuff. But yeah, so in no particular order. Got a copy of Time and Changes by Robert Silverberg. And then we found a Log 1 by Alan Dean Foster. These usually sell really well. This is one that I am so excited to have found because I love 1960s submarine science fiction. It's especially Voyage to the Bottom of the Ocean, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And anyway, I found Undersea Fleet by Frederick Pohl. Look at this. It's so rad. So rad. I don't know if you can see it. There's a fly. Sorry, fly. The fly must die. So then I found a paperback copy of Gateway by Frederick Pohl. And while we're talking about Gateway, I also found this book club edition, and I'm not sure if it made it. There's a book haul video that I filmed back in early September that never got published, and I want to say that the copy of Gateway that I had found was in that haul. I could be wrong. It could be one that you've seen. Either way, I found a first edition of Gateway, and I knew that it had won all the awards, but I didn't fully appreciate what it could sell for. And when I went to start looking for comps, I was really shocked at what was out there. And I ended up, some of the comps were for signed editions, and that sort of took up the heavy lifting of the value of the first edition version of this. But then I found other editions that weren't signed that were still selling for $100 or more. And so I took the first edition copy that I'd found, and I listed it for $150, just unsure if that was an appropriate price. And my wife is an economist, and she always tells me that the price of something is whatever someone pays for it. So I decided to leave it up. I left it up for about a month and a half, and then the day that I found these two copies, when I was out and about, I got a notification that the first edition had sold for $150. So if you're out there in the wild and you find a first edition Gateway by Frederik Pohl, know it's worth. I found Subspace Encounters by E.E. Doc Smith. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but he in his early printings, he listed his name as E.E. Smith, PhD. And I think that somebody very kindly told him how cringe that was. And so he adopted this less cringe approach. I don't know. I found a copy of The Crucible of Time by John Brunner. There's a lot of Brunners mixed in throughout here. And I also found The Worlds of Robert A. Heinlein, which this is an early Ace edition. I don't recall which stories are in here. Let's take a look. Freeman, Blow-Ups Happen, Searchlight, Lifeline. Yeah. There you go. So that's 1966. This is in really great condition. This is another E. Doc Smith. I can't read upside down again. First Lensman, the famous Lensman series. I don't know, you tell me. The only reason I grabbed this, it's the Frans Saberhagen, but I have the other two books in this series, and I was missing this one, and was just thrilled when I found it. Sometimes that happens in the wild, and it's just amazing. Found this, The Black Cloud by Fred Hoyle. I don't know anything about this, but I get the sensation that this is awesome. It's just a gut feeling. We judge books by covers. Can't help it. Found this, The Currents of Space by Isaac Asimov. Which I love these editions. These Del Reys. Found Man Plus by Frederik Pohl. We have a literal Batman on the front. And so this is, I think I actually found two copies of this. So this is Robert Silverberg. It has The Mask of Time, Born with the Dead, and Dying Inside. And then I found, okay, so it's not quite the same. So I also found this one. This is The Book of Skulls, Nightwings, and Dying Inside. Both very cool editions. Also found a pretty stellar copy of Nova. This is in great condition. And a copy of The Unpleasant Profession of Jonathan Hogue. Gotta pick up those Heinleins. People buy those. And a copy of Triton in really fantastic condition. This is The Inner Landscape. Mary Peaks, Gigi Ballard, and Brian Aldiss. So I believe these are 3 novellas. The Boy in the Darkness, The Voices of Time, and Danger Religion. That's pretty rad. I think I'm keeping this one. It's another one of these E.E. Doc Smiths. This one looked interesting. This has got some fascinating cover. This is Keepers of the Gate by Stephen G. Spruill. Mom always said she had to put her face on in the morning. Then I got a copy of The Hand of Oberon, Sign of the Unicorn. Copy of The Fall of Moon Dust by Arthur C. Clarke. Sorry about that. Another E. Doc Smith. I don't know why I grabbed all of those. I guess I did. And Star Tide Rising by David Brin. This is one of the early paperback editions. Why do I keep doing that, guys? I'm really sorry. I'm not paying it. I'm looking down here, and I'm not looking up there. Now, this one was super fun to find. This is an older print of The Illustrated Man. Also found in perfect condition, The Man Who Sold the Moon. And a copy of Indoctrinaire by Christopher Priest. This is a really great cover. I wish I could remember this artist's name. I've seen his stuff all over the place. Let's see. Yep, it's not credited. Somebody will know. You know what this is. Got a copy of The Machine Crusade and a really great condition copy of A Gift from Earth. This is a fantastic book. It's just clean-cut, good sci-fi. And a really great copy of The Dorsai Experiment. I've never seen this cover before, so that's pretty rad. And then a copy of Gulliver of Mars. And then this is a copy of Pebble in the Sky. This is a Fawcett Crest edition, and I have never seen that edition before, but it has a really great cover, and it's in really great shape. It's so nice. Fairly decent copy of Cities in Flight. These are usually read to pieces, and so it's hard to get a copy that's in great shape. I usually find them in worse condition than this, but that one's in pretty good shape. And then this is an ace double, Target Terra and Proxima Project. Space Cadet by Robert Heinlein, making all them Heinlein boys happy. I found this really rad edition of The Island of Dr. Moreau, and Independence Day. People like this. People like this, apparently. And then a really nice copy of Heechee Rendezvous. And now, I don't know anything about Herman Wouk, Zero, but I have a copy of this elsewhere, and it looks pretty rad. I've seen a lot of his books in the sort of lit fiction area, but I've never read this one. This is his only science fiction as far as I know. But if anybody's read that, let me know. I'm curious. And then just some various Dune books. Those are always good sellers. I do the same thing with Dune that I do with The Lord of the Rings, is I put together an entire print series and then list them. And I also had The Courts of Chaos by Zelazny. So I think that's that whole series. I don't know if there's just 3 of them in that series or not, but and then a copy of Critical Mass. This is Frederick Pohl and C.M. Kornbluth. Super stoked about that. And then I got a copy of The White Plague. Somebody must have just given their whole Herbert collection away. Some Foundations, not that interesting. The Eternal Champion by Michael Moorcock. I believe I'd have to go look, and I maybe should have saved this till last, unless I'm completely mistaken. I'd have to go look. but I'm pretty sure that this one is crazy valuable. Hang on, I'm gonna do a quick searcharoo on this. Okay, my search didn't yield anything particularly interesting. I seem to remember seeing a Whatnot auction the other day, and this came up, went for an insane amount of money because everybody knew that it was going for an insane amount of money. I could be confused on the title. It could be another Moorcock, but I was pretty sure it was this one. What I just looked up did not confirm that, but it was just a cursory look. So I'm going to take a good research. We're going to do our own research about it, and I'll get back to you. And then I found this really cool copy of The October Country by Ray Bradbury. And let's see, we're about into the hardbacks here, so just bear with me for one more second, and then we're going to talk about the crazy phenomenal shit I found. Got this Carlos Castaneda. Carlos Castaneda sells really, really well. I always sell these books, and some of them sell for more. I've even sold some of these in pretty poor condition, and people wanted them. So, and then these are super fun. These are the Nitpicker's Guide to Star Trek: The Classic Series and Star Trek: The Next Generation. I've never run into these before, but they seemed really cool, and I'm sure that somebody's going to want these. Oh, we got one more paperback before we move on to the hardbacks. I have never found this one in the wild. I was pretty excited when I found it. I found The Iron Dream by Norman Spinrad. This is the satire about Hitler. So that's something. I really do want to read this. I found this really great folio edition of The Best of Dorothy Parker, and I just think it's rad. I guess this is an effect of the whatever plastic coating they had on there. It's got this ripply effect now, but otherwise, I mean, it's in really great condition. And I do have a soft spot for Dorothy Parker. Maybe a hard spot too. I don't know. Found a copy of The Mountains of Madripoor by Silverberg, and a copy of Majestic by Whitley Strieber. I'm very excited about reading this one. Sorry I did it to you again. Very excited about reading this one. And a copy of Friday. I believe this is a first edition. I'm not going to look, I don't care. And then this one was really cool. People have different feelings about David Brin, but this is the Earth Clan. So this is Startide Rising and the Uplift War. So this is both of them. That's pretty rad. And a copy of The Wanderer by Fritz Leiber, which is a book club edition and super duper rad. Should we put like a counter down on the bottom of how many times I say rad? It's in my lexicon, it's never coming out. I continue to be successful with finding these. I found another set. This is probably the fourth set that I have found, and these get listed for a couple days and then they're gone. And if you have one individually, it does not sell. It will sit in your account and never sell. But if you have both of them, they're going out the door. Okay, so this was really interesting. So this is Omni Screen Flights, Screen Fantasies, The Future According to Science Fiction, edited by Dan Perry. And man, I could not walk away from this. Look at that Outlander. Super duper rad. There we go, I did it again. So this is sort of a history. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you just look at that? This is very cool. This might deserve its own video at some point when I have a chance to go through that more fully. So I found a copy of The Forge of God and The Anvil of Stars, which I find pretty regularly, which is great. And then a Robert Jordan, which I don't read Robert Jordan. I'm not into Robert Jordan. I don't really care about Robert Jordan. But when you pick these up and they're in good condition, they sell. And so that's what I have begun to care about. Found a copy of Three to Dorsai. This is a book club edition. This was super rad. This is Isaac Asimov science fiction masterpieces, 65 great sci-fi stories, selected by the master himself. So it's another Asimov collection, but very, very cool. Varakel. That's Varakel. 1986. What do we got in here? I found a copy of The Best Science Fiction Stories of H.G. Wells. And a copy of Door into Ocean. I don't know anything about this, but that looks pretty cool. It's in pretty good condition. And then this is The House Between Worlds by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I have to tell you, I did not know the drama around Marion Zimmer Bradley until very recently. And it is quite a disappointing thing to learn about. And I'm not going to go into it on the channel, but if you're curious, give it a search. It's pretty disturbing. And then I found a hardback copy of Lord Valentine's Castle. This is a book club edition, no matter. These are hard to come across. And then a copy of Titan by John Varley, which, look at this, man. That's so friggin' rad. I did it again. And then this is, what is this? The Ringworld Engineers by Larry Niven. This is also a book club edition. I think these all belong to the same fella. And then a copy of Harvest the Fire by Poul Anderson. Also a book. I found a copy of Vitals by Greg Bear. And this one, I was super excited. Special Deliverance by Clifford Simak. You just never see those. That is a book club. I've picked up a Halo book, which I don't usually do, but I know that people like these. And then I don't know what this is. It was cool. It's a fantasy book. Dragon World, Byron Priest, and others. Whatever. Somebody's going to really like that. But this is really cool. This is Star of Gypsies by Robert Silverberg. And I was super pumped to find that one. And the only sad thing about these is that they're missing their dust jackets. This is a Treasury of Great Science Fiction, Volume 1 and 2, edited by Anthony Boucher. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly. I did take a look at what was in here in the store. And so this is 59. And you can see they've got them checked off which ones they've read. Bradbury, there's some Philip K. Dick, Henry Kuttner, C.M. Seymour, Hornbluth, this Gomez. George Eliot. Interesting. There's a George Eliot story in here. Poul Anderson, Van Vogt. Yeah. These are probably going to be keepers for me, because I want to read some of these. Poul Anderson. Yeah. There's the Highland. Henry Kuttner. Yep. There's an E.B. White in there too. That's weird. And then I found a copy of On the Beach by Nevil Shute. This is a hardback. I think this is a book club edition. It's in perfect condition. And another Robert Jordan. Now, hold on to your pants, because I've got something crazy to show you. Okay, I'm almost to the big reveal. So there's a bookstore in my town, and I like to do some trading there. And a lot of times when I have stuff that just isn't the right fit for my shop, or I picked it up thinking that it would be a good seller and it's not necessarily, I'll bring it over to this bookstore, and they'll usually take them. They'll take some of them, but they give really great store credit, and so it basically means that anything I buy there is always half off, which is really great. I'm going to show you a few things before I show you the really special. So I'm just going to keep baiting you just a little bit. So just bear with me here. I found a copy of Orbit 1 by Damon Knight, and I was super stoked about this. This was actually on their dollar rack, which is crazy. My wife grabbed this one. She saw this one, Vacuum Flowers. I had never heard of this before, but it's in great condition, and it's a book club edition. I don't know, but she was insistent, and she thought that there was a very attractive woman on the front, and I had to agree. I found a copy of The 7 Deadly Sins of Science Fiction. I've seen this in paperback, but I've never found the hardback, so I was very stoked about that. And then The Last Defender of Camelot by Robert Zelazny. A lot of these I'm going to be hanging on to. And then I found a copy of The World Inside, which I want to read this book so bad. I'm just stoked that I actually found a copy of it, and it is a book club edition, but I don't give a darn. And then I found a copy of Playgrounds of the Mind. I have a signed copy of this one that I'm really proud of. This one is not signed. And then Sign of Chaos by Roger Zelazny. Also found Prince of Chaos by Roger Zelazny, which was pretty cool. Sorry, I'm trying to hurry here. I know you've been bearing with me for a while. And I found The Long Afternoon of Earth. This is Hot House. This is a hardcover edition. I've never seen this in hardcover. It's a book club edition. I don't know, man. I got really excited about this one. I'm not going to be able to let it go. Then I found Juniper Time by Kate Wilhelm. And The Day of Their Return by Poul Anderson, and World's End by Joan Ving. All rad, all awesome. There's that word again, I said it again. And I found that. I have not come across a hardcover edition of this. I paid a fair and reasonable price for it. It's a book club edition, and it is in amazing shape. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to have a hard time letting this one go. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think this is going to be mine. And then just a handful of paperbacks here. There's Shockwave Rider by John Brunner, which I don't know if you haven't read Brunner, it's friggin' awesome. Awesome stuff. And then The Space Mercenaries by Frederick Pohl and C.M. Kornbluth, which has one of the most badass covers. I don't know, I'm a sucker for this sort of thing. And then a Jack Vance, Alistair 1716, and then Total Eclipse by John Brunner, another really freaking awesome cover. And then I grabbed a couple of Doc Savages. I don't usually grab these, but I did. And let's see. Alright. Let's give you the good stuff here. Okay. So, just before I left this bookstore, the really nice fella that works there, he pulls out this box, and he mentioned that a lot of the books that I had purchased came from the same guy, and which makes sense. And so he then sets the stack of magazines onto the counter from the box, and he says, "Would you like these?" And my initial response with analog magazines is typically, no, thank you. And that has a lot to do with the quality and the resaleability of them, and some of them are worth it. Some of them definitely are not. And I'll just show you. When I looked at this stack, he handed me this stack. I did a little peek through, and then I saw that, and then I turned and I saw that, and then I turned and I saw that, and I immediately put them back on the counter, and I said, "What would you like for them?" And he said, "How about $1 each?" And I said, "Sold." He ended up charging me $9 for this stack, which was incredibly gracious and incredibly kind and wonderful. I have not valued each of these, but right off the top, there are 3 of the original newsstand editions of the Dune publications that were originally published in analog. And I did a little bit of research online just to sort of check the value. I knew that they were going to be high, and they're a little bit all over the place because some people sell them and don't realize what they have. But I found a graded copy of this one. It was graded as a 7, and it was in a little bit worse condition than this one is in, and it sold for $450 recently. So, unreal. I am, these two sell for slightly less, but I didn't find any graded editions of these. I have never done this before. I'm not a comic book person. I don't really enter into that realm, but I am going to get the 3 of these properly graded and sealed and boxed so that they can be sold appropriately. Now, the thing that we need to do is we need a separate video where I set these out and I flip through the pages for you and give you a good look-see before they're sealed up forever. And I have a really hard time, honestly, letting these go. There's a part of me that wants to keep them, because why wouldn't you? But if I can extract that kind of value out of them, that would be phenomenal for my book enterprise, and I can't just ignore that opportunity. So, this is one of those phenomenal finds that just falls in your lap when you're friendly and you know the right people, and I am so thankful. Now, it's not just analogs in this stack. There's some really awesome stuff. Like I said, I haven't gone through all of this yet. But these are from '64. I have not looked these up, but they're also in fantastic condition. Then there are a lot of these Vertex magazines, which I have never run into before. I guess I'm just not cool enough, man. I didn't know about Vertex. I did a little look in and can tell how awesome it is. There's some Silverberg in this one. This is a Galileo magazine, which again I am unfamiliar with. This is Galileo number 1. I have a feeling that there's some value in this as well, but I have not researched it. This is Galileo number 9. You can see the authors: Silverberg, Willis, Carver, Bradbury, Clark, Chilson. This one is whatever. This is an old Asimov. This is another Vertex. just really friggin' wild. There's another Vertex. All of these deserve a closer look. I've got to do my research on these and see what the deal is, but they're really friggin' cool, man. Really, really, really blown away by this. And like I said, I generally just stay away from magazines. I stay in my lane, but obviously these were way too cool. Here's another. There's a Frank Herbert interview in this one. So that's that. I will get myself together and I will make a special video just for these Dune issues, and I will keep you posted on how they do. Yeah. Thank you. Have a really nice day.